So we will have some guided meditation.
Wir werden jetzt eine geleitete Meditation haben.
So please sit with your back straight and your shoulder relaxed.
Und bitte nimm eine Sitzhaltung an, dass wir sitzen mit gerade aufgerichtet Rücken, aber mit den Schultern entspannen.
We will begin with the morning chant.
Wir werden jetzt mit dem Morgen Chant beginnen.
And the meaning of the chant in Vietnamese is the Dharma Kaya or the Dharma body is shining brightly in the morning light.
Der Dharma Kaya, das heißt der Dharma Körper, erstrahlt in der Morgendämmerung.
Sitting peacefully, a happy smile is born on my lips.
Ich sitze aufrecht, friedvoll, ein Harmlächeln ist auf meinen Lippen geboren.
It is a new day, and I aspire to go through it with mindfulness.
Das ist ein neuer Tag. Wir geloben durch den Tag in Achtsamkeit zu gehen.
And in whatever I do, there is wisdom or insight into every mind of my act.
In jeder Handlung, Aktivität, die ich mache, das ist immer Wahrheit da drin. Das heißt, ich mache alle meine Alltagsaktivität mit Weisheit.
Noble Sangha, please diligently bring your mind into meditation.
Edle Gemeinschaft, bring nun euren Geist in Meditation.
Namo Sakya Munaye Buddhaya.
Namo Shakya Munaye Buddhaya.
Tịnh tòa lòng an miệng mỉm cười. Ngày mới 啊。 tình thức mặt trời trê tuệ rạng muôn nơi. Ngưỡng mong đại chúng tinh tiến nhiếp tâm thiện tâm. Nam mô Sakyamuni Buddhaya. 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 Gently coming back to my body and my mind. Enjoy my in-breath and my out-breath.
Samt kom ik zu meinem Körper und mein Geist zurück. Und ich genieße meinen Einatmen und meinen Ausatmen.
It is so wonderful to return to myself and to be here in this very present moment.
Es ist so wunderbar, zu mir zurückzukehren. Bin mit mir im Hier und Jetzt.
It is so wonderful to breathe in.
Es ist so wunderbar, einzuatmen.
It is so wonderful to breathe out.
Es ist so wunderbar, auszuatmen.
Experiencing my in-breath from the beginning to the end, I breathe in.
Ich erfahre meine Einatmung vom Anfang bis zu Ende.
I breathe in.
Atme ich ein.
Experiencing my out-breath from the beginning to the end, I breathe out.
Ich erfahre meine Ausatmung vom Anfang bis zu Ende. Atme ich aus.
Feeling awake, I breathe in.
Ich fühle mich erwacht. Atme ich ein.
Feeling relaxed, I breathe out.
Ich fühle mich entspannt. Atme ich aus.
Feeling being awake,
Mich erwacht fühlend.
feeling relaxed.
Mich entspannt fühlend.
continuing to maintain my sense of being awake.
Wir werden weiter in diesem Sinn bleiben, erwacht bleiben.
Not to tense, not to force our awareness,
Nicht so strich. Und wir brauchen unseren Gewahrsein nicht so sehr zu erzwingen.
but at the same time, we do not let it go. We don't lose it. We don't lose the awareness.
Aber gleichzeitig lassen wir unseren Gewahrsein nicht loslassen. Lassen wir das nicht so locker.
Fully aware of myself, my whole body.
Ik ben mir selbst, meines Körpers, vollkommen bewusst.
Allowing my whole body to relax.
Und erlaube dabei, meinen Körper sich zu entspannen.
Allowing myself to wake up, to fully wake up.
Ich erlaube mir selbst, mich vollkommen zu erwecken, zu wach zu sein.
Be very attentive, be very alert.
Sei attentiv, sei aufmerksam, sei alert.
But at the same time, relax.
Aber gleichzeitig entspannen.
Fully awake,
Vollkommen erwacht.
fully watching myself carefully.
Beobachtet mich selbst vollkommen. Vorsichtig mich selbst beobachten.
The more I become awake, the more I become peaceful.
Je mehr ich erwacht bin, umso mehr bin ich friedvoll.
Watching myself carefully, but do not allow my awareness to be tense.
Ich beobachte mich sehr vorsichtig, sehr aufmerksam, aber gleichzeitig lasse ich mich nicht so sehr anspannen,
So that my mind is fully relaxed.
sodass mein Geist vollkommen sich entspannen kann.
The more I am awake, the more my mind become empty.
Je mehr ich erwacht bin, umso mehr ist mein Geist leer.
Empty from notion, from idea.
Leer von Begriff, von Vorstellungen, von Ideen,
From idea, from abstract notion.
von abstrakt Begriffen.
My mind is fully empty, but fully awake.
Mein Geist ist vollkommen leer, aber vollkommen erwacht. Vollkommen wachsam.
In this true emptiness, I'm not caught by any idea, by any view, by any perception.
Von diesem wahre Leerheit. Mein Geist ist nicht gefangen von irgendeiner Idee, abstract Notion, abstract Begriffe, von Vorstellungen.
In this full awareness, my mind is empty, like a great empty sky.
Von diesem vollen Gewahrsein, vollkommen erwachen Zustand. Mein Geist ist leer, so leer wie der Himmel, wie einen leeren Himmel.
In this great empty sky, clouds come and go without any attachment to the empty sky.
In diesem leeren Himmel, Wolken können kommen und gehen, ohne von dem Himmel gefangen zu werden.
In the same way, like the great sky and the cloud,
Das ist genauso wie der immense Himmel und die Wolken.
our empty mind is able to contain all the experience, like the great empty sky contain all of the clouds.
Genauso wie der leere immense Himmel kann unseren Geist alle Erfahrungen halten,
Without any attachment.
ohne irgendeine Anhaftung.
Experience come and go in this great empty mind.
Erfahrungen, Erlebnisse kommen und gehen wie Wolken im Himmel.
In our normal daily experience, we lose this true nature of emptiness of our mind.
In unserem normalen alltäglichen Leben, wir verlieren diese wahre Leerheit von unserem Geist.
We are caught in our experiences.
Wir sind gefangen, gehaftet von unseren Erfahrungen.
Either grasping or rejecting our experience.
Entweder wir halten an unseren Erfahrungen fest, wir greifen danach, oder wir lehnen das ab.
We like these people, we dislike other people.
Wir lieben diese Person, wir hassen andere Personen, wir mögen diesen Menschen, wir lehnen anderen Menschen ab.
We accept this person's behavior and we do not accept the other person's behavior.
Wir akzeptieren das Verhalten von diesen Menschen. Wir akzeptieren nicht das Verhalten von anderen Menschen.
We are drowned in the ocean of suffering of birth and death.
Wir sind versunken in dem Ozean des Leidens von Geburt und Tod.
Birth and death here is the birth and death of our experiences.
Geburt und Tod hier hat die Bedeutung von Geburt und Tod von unseren Erfahrungen.
The moment we can let go of this ocean of birth and death and direct ourselves to the true nature of our mind, we are free.
Der Moment, den wir nicht gefangen sind von Geburt und Tod, in diesem Moment sind wir frei. Der Moment, wir nicht gefangen sind von unseren Erfahrungen, von unseren Erlebnissen, diesem Moment sind wir frei.
Jumping from the ocean of birth and death into the domain of freedom happen in a flash of time.
Wir springen von einer Seite von Geburt und Tod zur anderen Seite, zu der Befreiung. Dieser Moment passiert wie ein Flash in einem kurzen Augenblick, plötzlichen Augenblick. Von einer Seite auf die andere Seite können wir springen. Das passiert in einem Flash. So.
This is the technique of Zen meditation.
Und genau das ist die Technik von Zen-Meditation.
Instantly dropping all of our experience
Instantly, sofort, lassen wir alle unsere Erfahrungen los
and return to our true emptiness of the mind.
und wir kommen zu dem wahren Leerheit von unserem Geist zurück.
Returning the state of full awakening of our mind.
Wir kommen zurück zu dem Zustand von dem vollen Erwachen des Geistes.
This is called sudden enlightenment.
Das nennen wir plötzliche Erleuchtung. Spontane Erleuchtung.
To practice Zen meditation, we have to be very alert, very watchful every moment of our life.
Zen-Meditation zu praktizieren, müssen wir sehr alert sein, sehr wachsam sein in jedem Moment unseres Lebens.
And right away, every moment, to remind ourselves to return to our true nature of emptiness.
In jedem Moment erinnern uns daran, zurück zu unserer wahren Natur zu kommen, zurück zu dem Leerheit des Geistes zu kommen,
The true nature of the mind.
zu der wahren Natur des Geistes. Das ist Leerheit, Erwachsein.
In the positive language, the true emptiness of our mind is called the Buddha nature.
In der positiven Sprache, diese wahre Natur des Geistes nennen wir unsere Buddha-Natur.
This is the essence, teaching of Zen meditation and the practice of Zen meditation.
Das ist der Kern, dieses Essenz von Zen-Meditation und das ist der Kern von der Praxis der Zen-Meditation, Zen-Buddhismus.
Abiding all the time in the Buddha nature. Abiding, dwelling, residing. Abiding into the Buddha nature all the time. Abiding, dwelling. Yeah.
Wir verweilen, wir binden uns mit der Buddha-Natur in uns. Wir verweilen unseren Geist in den Zustand von der Buddha-Natur des Geistes.
It is a lifetime training.
Das ist eine Lebensübung, Lebensaufgaben im ganze Leben, für das ganze Leben üben wir so. Immer zurück zu unserer Buddha-Natur kommen.
This technique of returning to our Buddha nature from the beginning of the sitting meditation to the end of the sitting meditation is called only sitting.
Diese Technik zu unserer Buddha-Natur zurückkommen, seit dem Anfang der Sitzmeditation bis zu Ende der Sitzmeditation wird genannt als nur Sitzen. In der Sprache von Zen-Tradition, diese Technik heißt nur Sitzen. Technik. Behandeln die Natur, den Buddha-Geist vom Anfang bis zu Ende der Sitzung.
From only sitting meditation, we extend this practice into our daily activity in every aspect of our life.
Von diesem Zustand nur sitzen, dehnen wir diesen Zustand in unserem ganzen Alltag bei allen unseren Aktivitäten im Alltag.
So we have only walking,
Sodass wir nur gehen,
only eating,
nur essen,
only working,
nur arbeiten,
and every act we abide or we dwell in the nature of our emptiness of the mind.
und jede Aktion, jede Handlung, wir verweilen in diesem Geist der Buddha-Natur, in diesem Geist der Leerheit.
And this becomes Zen way of living.
Und das wird zu einer Art von Zen-Weg des Lebens. Das ist unser Lebensweg und das ist unser Zen-Weg.
We now enjoy a few moments of dwelling in the true nature of the mind for a few moments before we end our meditation.
Wir werden jetzt so bleiben in diesem Zustand, der unsere wahre Natur des Geistes, in dem Zustand der Buddha-Natur des Geistes für eine Weile.
We can massage our body for a moment.
Wir reiben unsere Hände warm und wir massieren mit den warmen Händen unser Gesicht, unseren Kopf, unseren Körper, Beine und Füße. Und nach der Massage könnten wir 5 Minuten Pause machen, bevor wir den Dharma-Vortrag haben.
So, dear respected Thầy, dear respected brother and sister, um, so we continue with our discussion about the practice of Zen meditation. Yesterday, we already talked about the Buddhist meditation. Mm. Buddhist meditation. What I mean by Buddhist meditation is the meditation that was taught by the Buddha, by early generation of Buddhist practitioner. And this Buddhist meditation very much to do with the practice of slowly transforming our negative habit energy, and healing the wounded, healing the wound within us. This takes some time because energy accumulate over time. The negative energy accumulate depend on the way we live, that we are not aware of what we are doing, and we lose ourselves in this activity, and over time energy begin to accumulate. It become our habit energy. It became our đó là có echo. There is this accumulation of our way of living, the pattern of our behavior. So it takes some time for this to accumulate. It creates a block of energy within us. And the more, if we don't practice, then this block of negative energy continue to tighten up into a knot, into a block, into a block of energy within us. And every time someone touch this block of energy, we begin to behave automatically. Like someone push the button and we just jump very quick. We don't have any control over our behavior. Someone says something that is unpleasant for us, then right away we react very strongly. And the reaction comes from the activation of this block of negative energy within us. So in the Buddhist meditation, usually we practice to harmonize this block, to dissolve this block, to embrace it with the energy of mindfulness, and allow the transformation to happen so that this block of energy can resolve in time. If we practice successfully, then the more we practice, we become lighter, we become more happier, we become more joyful, and there's so much light on our appearance. There's so much good energy radiate from us. Mhm. Thanks to the capacity of transforming this block of negative energy within us. There is and yesterday we talked about the Bhattacharya meditation. Bhattacharya meditation. And that is the meditation of the Bhattacharya proposed by the Chinese Parihar. Chinese Patriarch of the Zen tradition. Remember when we said Zen here, it has a very special connotation. That is the practice promoted by the Chinese Patriarch. And the technique from this Bhattacharya meditation was recorded in a text called the Platform Sutra. The Platform Sutra. This sutra record the teaching of Master Huệ Năng. This is a Vietnamese writing, and Chinese writing is Huệ Năng. Master Huệ Năng lived in the 7th to the 8th century AD. And he passed away around 713 AD. Yeah, 713 AD. Try saying. And this text is very interesting because it gives us a window into the formation of the Zen tradition. The text that is circulated before the 20th century, the standard text of the Platform Sutra was the print edition of 1290 AD. 1290 AD. In the Ming Dynasty. In the Ming Dynasty. This is the text that is the standard text in circulation. But then at the beginning of the 20th century, by chance, scholar discover the text of the Platform Sutra in mấy xem có dùng cái hấp chính không? Không, mấy xem có dùng cái của thầy Pháp xã mua không? Mấy xem phải chịu có gắn cái đó mỗi ngày. Chạy lấy cái đó đi. Mình mua cái đó là để sử dụng cái đó mà. Mình phải gắn cái đó mỗi ngày á xem. Sorry that our internet connection is unstable. Can you still hear me? If you hear me, please raise your hand. Thank you. So, at the beginning of the 20th century, scholars discovered another version of the Platform Sutra from the area called Dung Wan. In Vietnamese, called Dong Wan. And this text from Dong Wan, people can date it, and it's perhaps it was composed about 780 AD. So that is around about 67 years after Master Huệ Năng passed away. So about 60 years, roughly about 60 to 70 years after Master Huệ Năng passed away. And people discover that the 1290 version, the Ming Dynasty version, the Ming Dynasty version is like twice the length of the Dung Wan version. Yeah. It's like double the length of the text. And there are development from the Don Juan version to the Ming version. And we can see that during around 500 years or so, from 1290, from 780 AD to 1290 AD, that is about 510 years. During this 500 years, the Zen meditation had developed, had developed and changed quite significantly from the Dunhuang text. But the main idea of the Zen meditation is more or less the same. And what is that idea? The idea is that this block of pain and sorrow is activated when we are not attentive. So this block is activated when we are not attentive, when we are not alert. When we are not fully aware. When we are not fully aware. If we are fully aware, so this block of pain and sorrow within us is activated when we are not attentive, when we are not alert, when we are not fully aware. So there is an approach, a different approach to to the to the approach of transforming our negative habit energy in time. And that approach is that we learn to be very attentive. We learn to be very attentive. We learn to be very very alert of what is going on in our mind. And we watch our the movement of our mind so attentive. We are fully awake. So whatever experience is coming, then that experience is dissolving without any grasping to that experience. We allow our experience to be dissolved into this true nature of the mind, the nature of true emptiness. Our mind, the true nature of our mind is the nature of empty. The true nature of our mind is the nature of emptiness. Yesterday, we talked about the naked awareness. The naked awareness. The naked awareness is the awareness, the full awareness, the 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 attentive awareness, so strong. This energy is so strong. This attention is so strong that whatever coming in, that experience just reflect and it go. And we do not grasp onto this experience. We just allow to come in and then allow to come out. Just like a cloud on the great empty sky. The cloud coming in to this great empty sky and then it coming out. And the clouds do not remain with the empty sky. It's not hooked there. The cloud just flow on, continue to flow on. So this awareness, this very strong energy of awareness, this energy of awareness, according to the Chinese patriarch, the Zen tradition, that is the energy of enlightenment. That is the energy of enlightenment. So there is a transformation. There's transformation of the understanding of enlightenment. In the Indian tradition, on the night of the enlightenment, the Buddha was underneath the Bodhi tree. He practiced meditation, jhana, And he attained the first jhana, the second jhana, the third, and the fourth jhana. And from the fourth jhana, he looked back to his existence. He looked at his existence, and he has three knowledge. The first knowledge is called in Vietnamese Túc Mạng Minh. And it means that the knowledge of all of the previous lives. The Buddha was able to recall his previous life. One life, 10 life, 100 life, 100,000 life, and his whole infinite existence, infinite life. He can remember where he was born, how he grew up, and then he passed away. And that's called the knowledge of all previous life. And he also attained the second knowledge. And the second knowledge is called the divine eyes. He attained the divine eyes. And with the divine eyes, he looked into the coming in and out of existence, the birth and death of all of the living beings. And he see a person doing good act. He was born into good condition, good environment, good family, and then he reap good result in his next existence. And then for the people who have done negative things in their life, and when they go to the next life cycle, they will reap the fruit of what they've been doing in the past life. So he understands the laws of cause and effect. And the third knowledge is the knowledge that he knows that all of the affliction has ended. Has ended. So that is from the perspective of Indian Buddhism. What it means to be enlightened. That means with enlightenment, we have a full understanding about existence. But for the Chinese patriarch, this concept of enlightenment is transformed in a very different ways. Enlightenment in the Chinese patriarch of the Zen tradition, in the patriarch meditation, enlightenment means the capacity to be fully awake. Fully awake in the moment. So that thanks to that capacity of fully awake, we are not moved by this block of pain within us, the block of sorrow within us. This block of suffering might come up, but then we allow them to be dissolved in this empty space of the mind. This is a result of long development of Buddhist thought. In my last course on Buddhist meditation, I talk about the sutra on awareness of breathing. And the fourth set of the awareness of breathing concerning with our perception. Our perception is the foundation of all of our suffering. Depending on how we look at things, depending on our perspective, our view and our notion, we develop our way of living. From perception, there's come this whole house of suffering based on our perception. Depending on our view about life, we will build our life based on this view. And during the development of Buddhist thought, there's come the development of a literature, a set of practice of the school called Prajna Paramita school. And what does Prajna Paramita school said? It said that all of our view are only one-sided view. When we look at things, depending on our karmic condition, we can only look at one aspect of the reality. We cannot see the totality of the reality. For example, let's say right now, I'm in this space. Then I look into this direction. I look into this direction and I see things in the front of me in this direction. So in this direction, I see the TV screen on which there's my picture and some picture of some of the friends in the Zoom application. But Sister Samgim now is sitting at the back of the room. She look up, she only see the back of the TV. And on the back of the TV, she didn't see my picture. She tried her best to listen to me, and she tried the best to look at the board, what I wrote on a small computer at the back of the room. So if we say that the whole event happening in this meditation hall is the total reality happening, then I only perceive an aspect of that reality. And Sister Samgim see only a small aspect of that reality. And our friends stay at home watching us You have your own reality. And all of this, all of this aspect give you a perception what the Dharma talk today is about. So from all of this, from all of this one-sided view, it gives rise to your perception of the reality. But this perception is not complete. Because it's not complete, there's a chance that it causes confusion. It causes confusion because we cannot see the totality. So there is a confusion, and then there could be anger, there could be greed, there could be jealousy, there could be anxiety, there could be worry, and so on. Because our reality, the way we perceive at our reality is confused. So from this Prajnaparamita school, they come up to the idea that that reality is something that we cannot grasp. Reality cannot be grasped, cannot be grasped by our view. By our view. Cannot be grasped by our view. And the way to peace is to learn to empty our view. Not to grasp onto any particular view. That's what I mean by empty our mind. And our mind have that capacity. Our mind have the capacity of free, not grasping on any particular view. That is our nature. We have that capacity. But most of the time, we do not know. We do not know this capacity of our mind. And we grasp onto a particular view, a particular experience of our life. So the Chinese patriarch meditation, they talk about this capacity, the capacity of emptying the mind. And this capacity of emptying the mind, we reach a nature of the mind that is always peaceful. And that nature of the mind they call Buddha nature. Buddha nature. It's the Buddha nature. That is the capacity to be peaceful. The capacity to be peaceful in every circumstances. Because our mind have the capacity to let go of attachment. The true nature of our mind is the nature of emptiness. That means there's nothing that can disturb the fundamental property of the mind. The fundamental property of the mind is empty. That means deep within the mind, there's nothing. There's nothing. And this is the Zen teaching. If you read the Platform Sutra, then you will see there is this debate going on in the Chinese tradition. What is the true way to practice? What is the correct way, the right way of Zen? Zen is a development out of different aspects. From the Buddhist side, the teaching of Prajnaparamita school become fully grow at the beginning of the current era. The Paramita school, the earliest is around 80 BC. So that means during the first century BC. And after that, a few more 100 years, by 150 AD, around 150 AD to 250 AD. That is during the lifetime of Master Nagarjuna. The teaching of the Prajnaparamita is fully systematized by Nagarjuna. And this teaching is passed into China. So during the next 300 years to 400 years, during this 300 to 400 years, this teaching on the Prajnaparamita, this teaching on the emptiness, the emptiness of the mind, as well as emptiness of the mind, as well as emptiness, the reality of emptiness, the reality of emptiness. That means the true nature of reality is the nature of emptiness. The teaching penetrates into China, and by the time of Master Wenang, so that means around 500 years later, 400 to 500 years later, this teaching is fully affect the Chinese thought. And reality is something that we cannot grasp, fit very well to the Chinese cultural background. In the 6th century BC, there is this sage called Lao Tzu, Lao Xi, the sage Lao Tzu, and he wrote a text called Đạo Đức Kinh, Đạo Đề Kinh. Đạo Đức Kinh is the sutra on the way and the virtue. The sutra on the way and its virtue. Tao is the way, and there is the virtue. So the sutra on the way and living a life of virtue, or something like that. And in this text, Lao Tzu said that the ultimate way cannot be described. The way cannot be grasped. Cannot be grasped. Grasp. Grasping. Yeah. And yeah. And anything that can grasp, that is not ultimate. In Vietnamese, it says something like this. I read it for the rhyme, so you enjoy the rhyme of the poem. It says something like this. Đạo khả đạo, phi thường đạo. Danh khả danh, phi thường danh. Vô danh thiên địa chi thủy, hữu danh muôn vật chi mẫu. Yes. Có mấy anh chị Việt Nam á, tôi muốn đọc cho mấy anh chị nghe cho vui. Yeah. So I translate for you. I translate for you. Đạo khả đạo, phi thường đạo. The way that you can perceive, that you can grasp, that is not the ultimate way. That is not the absolute way. That's not the absolute reality. Danh khả danh, phi thường danh. The name that you can name, that is not the absolute name. Vô danh thiên địa chi thủy. The root of the universe is no name. The universe has no name. The absolute reality does not have any name. Hữu danh muôn vật chi mẫu. Thanks to the naming, thousand things begin to manifest. Thanks to the language, thanks to the capacity of differentiating things linguistically, reality become multiple fold, multi-faces. So this concept of the reality of emptiness fit in very well with the Chinese culture. It fit in very well with the Chinese culture. And so after 400 years, when the teaching of emptiness going to the China is slowly permeate into people's thought, it's permeate into this cultural environment. And from this, the Chinese people begin to develop their own system of meditation. Zen meditation is a system of meditation that is based on Buddhist philosophy, Buddhist meditation, together with the framework of Chinese cultural background. The background of the background that is spoken in Đạo Đề Kinh, Đạo Đức Kinh, in Đạo Đức Kinh. And during this process of forming the Zen tradition, they are debated. So this debate it was recorded in a form of legend. And the the first version that is introduced is the Bhajan of Zen in China is Bodhidharma. And from Bodhidharma, it is transmitted to other Bhajan art. So from Bodhidharma, it's transmitted to the next Bhajan art, whose name is Huệ Khả, Bodhidharma. Then go to Huệ Khả. This is Vietnamese name. It's easier for me to pronounce it than the Chinese. Then from Huệ Khả, it goes to Tăng Sáng. And then from Tăng Sáng to Đạo Tiến. These are all names. And from Đạo Tiến to Hoàng Nhẫn. Hoàng Nhẫn. And then from Hoàng Nhẫn to Master Huệ Năng. And according to the legend, from the Bodhidharma to Master Hoàng Nhẫn, the text that is the foundation for the Zen tradition is the Lankavatara text. It's a sutra. Lankavatara. Lankavatara is a Mahayana sutra talking about the Mahayana teaching enter into Sri Lanka. Into the Sri Lanka. So the meaning of Lankavatara is entering into the island Lanka. And in this Lankavatara teaching, the mind acts like a mirror. The mind acts like a mirror. And because it's a mirror, and from time to time there's dust that is collected on the mirror. And as a practitioner, we need to clean the mirror every day. We need to clean the mirror. That means we need to cultivate the positive way of thinking. The positive way of thinking. And that is the teaching. We need to cultivate the positive energy with the mind. But then by the time of Master Hoàng Nhẫn to Master Huệ Năng, the text that is transmitted to Master Huệ Năng is not Lankavatara anymore, but it's the Diamond Sutra. And the shifting in the teaching is reported in the Platform Sutra. Is a report in this sutra with the story of Master Huệ Năng. According to Platform Sutra, Master Huệ Năng said that he was born in the south of China. His father is a Chinese, is a king official, is an official, government official. But then perhaps he had punished by the government, so he was exiled into an island in the south, in the southern part of China. And his father passed away, and his mother became very poor. And he is only son of the family. Master Huệ Năng is the only son of the family. And then so he cut the wood to sell the wood to earn a living. So one day someone buys some wood, so he carried the wood for that person to that person's home. And when he left the home of that person, he heard someone recite the Diamond Sutra. And this man recite the verse that in Sino-Vietnamese is called Ưng vô sở trụ nhi sanh kỳ tâm. That means if you do not abide your mind, or if you do not dwell your mind on any particular object, then the true mind manifests. If you are not caught by any object of the mind, then you can touch your true mind. After hearing this sentence, according to the Platform Sutra, Master Huệ Năng had some sort of enlightenment. Some sort of enlightenment. Some sort of awakening. He feels there's a shift in his consciousness. Enlightenment in the Chinese, in the Bajaj meditation, enlightenment is a shift in perspective. We see something new. We see something different. As if we just wake up from a dream. For example, sometime in our life, in our normal daily interaction also, someone says something, and suddenly we realize that it's the first time we hear it. And sometimes you said, really? 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 Is it really so? We are surprised. There's a shift in our perception. There's a shift in our perspective about something. So, in the case of Master Huệ Năng, when he heard the word that do not abide your mind in any places, in any particular object, in any particular experiences. That means do not let your mind be caught in any of the experience, any perception. Do not abide your mind anywhere. Then you can be in touch with the true mind. When we hear that, perhaps nothing happened to us. Nothing make us wake up. There's no shift in our consciousness. But in the case of Master Huệ Năng, there is this shift. He begins to perceive things differently. He understands differently how the mind works. And this shift in perspective, this shift in understanding things is called enlightenment. That is how Patriarch meditation understand it. So with that, Master Huệ Năng said that, wow, where did you learn this? And this person said, well, I learned it from Master Hoàng Nhẫn. So Master Huệ Năng asked people and find a way to the practice center of Master Hoàng Nhẫn, the fifth patriarch. And he came there, and he, in his first conversation with the fifth patriarch, the patriarch, where are you from, and what would you like to what are you looking for? And so Master Huệ Năng said, I come from the south, and I'm looking for the Buddha Dharma. And then Master Hoàng Nhẫn said, well, you come from a south, so you are more or less you come from a barbarian area. And then Master Huệ Năng said that, well, there is people coming from the north, people coming from the south, but the Buddha Dharma is not different for everyone. It's the same. So he make the fifth patriarch. He make fifth patriarch notice of his behavior. Then he went to work in the kitchen for 8 months. And boiling the rice. 8 months boiling the rice in the kitchen. And then one day, after 8 months, Master Huệ Năng was there. The fifth patriarch said that, well, my student, please, each one of you think about the nature of the mind and give me a verse talking about your understanding of the nature of the mind. And if you give the correct verse, then I will pass the rope of the Dharma to you and transmit the Dharma to you. And in the fifth patriarch community, there is a very learned monk, and his name is Thằng Tú. Very learned monk. Thằng Tú. And he's this is a Chinese spelling, Thằng Tú. He's a very learned monk, and he wrote a gatha. Mm. So, Master Tang Tu said this verse: the body is the body tree. The mind is like a clear mirror. At all time, we must strive to polish it and must not let the dust collect. So you can see that in this verse, our body is compared to a body tree, and our mind is compared to a mirror. And our practice is we need to clean the mirror so that we do not allow the dust to collect into it. And that is the the usual meditation. We learn to cultivate the positive energy. We learn to cultivate the positive way of thinking. And we try not to allow the negative energy, the negative way of thinking to remain very long within us. And this practice is called the practice of right effort. That is the effort, try to cultivate the goodness and um, try not to transform the negative and do not touch the negative. So Master Tang Tu represent the earlier tradition of Lankavatara tradition. The Lankavatara tradition regard the mind as a mirror. After the Buddha passed away, 200 to 300 years, there are different Buddhist schools that arose, which have different understanding or interpretation of the Buddha teaching. Mình mua cái hub đó, cái router đó là để mình cho những bài pháp thoại như vậy. Mấy xem phải chịu đem xuống. After the Buddha passed away, for 200, 300 years, there are different Buddhist schools that develop, and the Buddhist community split up into about 20 different schools or so, which each of the school have its own way of practice, own way of interpretation, and so on. Even though the core teaching are the same, but they have different interpretation, slightly different way of practice also, and so on. different way of understanding the Buddhist teaching. And alongside with these 20 schools, there is another movement, and that is the movement of Mahayana tradition. The Buddhist school, the 20 Buddhist school, develop in different ways. And the Mahayana tradition, some believe that it also comes from one of these schools, but some believe that it's a parallel development. But overall, we can say that there's a two way of understanding the Buddhist teaching. One way is to go through the approach of analytical approach, and one is go to the approach of synthesis, synthesis approach. And so the Mahayana, through the synthesis approach, come up with different understanding of who the Buddha is and what is the nature of enlightenment. So Lankavatara, the view that is presented in Lankavatara is one way of understanding the Buddha's enlightenment. Is one way of understanding the mind. And Prajna Paramita school is another way of understanding the mind, understanding the nature of the Buddha and his enlightenment. So, in this story, Master Thangtu represent the older generation or represent a different tradition, and that tradition is from the Lankavatara. And Master Huệ Năng also offer a verse. And this is the verse from Master Huệ Năng. His verse is in contrast to the verse by Master Thangtu. The verse of Master Huệ Năng is like this. Body originally has no tree. The mirror also has no stand. Buddha nature is always clean and pure. Where is there room for dust? And this is the verse from the Dung Wang version. Remember the Platform Sutra? The most circulated version is the version of the 13th century from the Ming Dynasty. And it is like double the length of the text of Dung Wang, which was written around 780 AD. So in the Dung Wang version, they have this verse of Master Huệ Năng. And this verse, the third line is different from the version of 1290. The version of 780 say that Buddha nature is always. Buddha nature is always clean and pure. and pure. And in the verse of 1290, in Vietnamese it say bổn lai vô nhất vật. Bổn lai vô nhất vật. That means right from the beginningless of time, from beginningless of time, there is not a thing. There's not a things. There's not a thing. That means true emptiness. That means true emptiness. And the text of Don Quang is very interesting because after representing the verse of Master Huệ Năng, it tried to give another verse. So according to the scholar who study this text, they said during this period of formation of the Platform Sutra, people still doesn't know how to express clearly the idea of the Zen tradition. So they present another verse. So another verse said, so that means another verse of Master Huệ Năng. So in the Don Quang version, Master Huệ Năng, like it seems like he has two versions. Two versions. The mind is the body tree. The body is the mirror stand. Where can it be stained by dust? So you see that in this second verse, people are still caught into this idea of the mirror. The mind is the body tree. Now they don't say that the body is the body tree, but the mind is the body tree. The body is the mirror stand. So the body is something that supports the mirror of the mind. And the mirror, which is our mind, is originally clean and pure. Where can it be stained by dust? So you can see that the other verse, there is another attempt to go beyond this idea of a mirror. Buddha nature is always clean and pure. But then by the 1290 version, it changed to the point that from the beginningless of time, there's not a thing. That means our true nature, the true nature of the mind is the nature of emptiness. So this, you can think of this verse of 780. Buddha nature is always clean and pure. You can think of it as a positive expression. Positive expression. And from beginningless of time, there's not a thing, is a way of negative expression. And later on, this negative expression was chosen as standard version. So the idea from the Zen meditation is that there is a redefinition of enlightenment. Enlightenment in the Zen tradition is the capacity to return to our true nature of the mind. To return to this nature of emptiness of our mind. And allow our mind to embrace all of the experiences. And let those experiences resolve itself in this great emptiness of the mind. Just like the cloud coming into great empty sky, it stays for some time and then it floats away. So that is the foundation of Zen meditation. In the Zen meditation, we learn to cultivate the energy of awareness to be very strong. Sometimes people compare to the energy of awareness like the energy of the sun. In the Zen tradition, this very attentive, full attention, and we pay great attention, so attentive that we touch the reality. And reality appear to us, but we do not grasp that reality in any way. We allow the reality the way it is. And the moment we allow the reality as it is, we are liberated. We are liberated, and we are not caught into this vicious circle of samsara, of birth and death. Birth and death in the Zen tradition is the grasping of the mind. It's the movement of the mind. We begin to move the mind because we cannot stay with the reality the way it is. For example, something happened in our life that is not pleasant. So perhaps, like in our circumstances, there's a COVID-19. And if we practice Zen meditation, we learn to have a full attention, full awareness on this manifestation of the COVID-19. And then we allow that experience to happen. We fully recognize it, fully aware of it, and accept it completely. And in this way, we accept the reality the way it is. That is the first step for a peaceful mind. The first step for a peaceful mind is to be there with the reality, fully be in there with the reality the way it is. It is like that, and that's it. It happened because it happened. It happened because it happened. Most of the time, our mind, we try to create a reason. We try to create a justification for what happened. But the practice is just to hold that experience. Hold that experience, allow it to happen. And from this holding, things begin to transform. We have better understanding. And we have a better way to deal with it. And we deal with it not from our perception. Because our perception is only one-sided. But we hold it, we respond to it with all of our energy, with all of our living energy. And solution come from this total energy when we embrace the situation. And that is the Zen way. It's not that we don't act. We do act. But we do not act from a one-sided view. We don't act from a one-sided perception. But we act from this total energy of life, total energy of living. And that's how we act in the Zen way. It comes from the deep source of living energy. And we know how to respond. We don't respond it from our particular mental state of the mind. But we respond from the totality of energy, because our total energy is there. So that thanks to that total energy, we know what needs to be done. Totally. In a positive way. So usually in the Zen tradition, when a student came and asked a teacher, and the teacher and student, they go through this, they call it the Zen battle. Zen battle. Zen battle. The Zen battle. And in this Zen battle, the teacher and student, they are totally there, fully absorbed. And the solution they offer is the solution from their living condition, the total energy of life. So there's no right or wrong in a solution. There's no right or wrong in the solution, but it's the total energy at that moment that is response to the situation. So some student came and asked a Zen master, does the dog has a Buddha nature? Does a dog have Buddha nature? Then the Zen master might say, no. And that is the response from his total energy for life. Is the response from his total energy for his student at that particular moment. He felt that his student needs this teaching. He felt that his student needs this answer for awakening. then he will say no. But then another student come and ask the same question. Does the dog have a Buddha nature? And then with his total energy being there, fully feeling the energy of the student, feeling the need of his student, the Zen master might say, yes. So, yes or no is not really the answer. It's not really the answer, but it's only a guidance for us to touch this domain of enlightenment, so that we can return to this source of the true emptiness of the mind. And that is how Zen Master teach. The practice is to be fully there, complete, attentive, and allow our innate nature to respond to life. And trust that innate response. Trust that deep wisdom within us. That is the practice of Zen. One day, the sister have a dance. The monastic sister in Plum Village have a dance. There was a poem of Thầy, a poem called the April. The April. Now April is coming up. In Vietnamese called Trường ca Avril. So it's called the song of April or April. I think they just named the poem April. And it was made into music. And the sister performed a dance. And in this poem, there is a part that a child come out and play in the season, in the spring season. So I was sitting next to Thầy, and when the song come to that part that the child go out and play, I was sitting next to Thầy, and Thầy pushed me, and he said, "Get out." Yeah. And that is a a challenge. It is a challenge for my Zen master. So when Thầy pushed me, I just came out and I play. I become a part of the dance with the sister to play the role of a little kid in that dance. And that's how Zen master interact with their student. It has to be spontaneous. And when he asks you to jump, then you jump. So thank you very much for your deep listening today. And sorry for our technical problem. Today, the sister brought in these daffodil flower. It's so beautiful. And Sister Songim brought many of them from her home to offer to the Sangha. And this is the flower that we offer you today of the spring. Enjoy it. So go out and enjoy the spring. Thank you for your deep listening. We listen to three Phap about to end.